1.9 was a time for, not a lot of good stuff. If dozens of times of Showdown Lyra Bandicoot didn't make that clear enough for you. But unlike the dozens of dick measuring contests that went on for ages, which were just YouTubers trying to out-hack each other, there were some damn good levels that came around. After all, the Extreme Demon meta didn't exist yet. Since there was only about 1.5 players that could actually beat them at the time, there were no shitty glow levels to come out to milk them for internet points like what happens today. Back then, there wasn't anyone that was really known for exclusively making really hard levels. In order to pull that off back in 1.9, you had to not only be a great creator, but a talented player too. Being both of those simultaneously was difficult, especially since it was less than 2 years in the game's history by that point. That being said, despite these lofty qualifications, 1.9 had not only one, but 2 players that made everyone else look like shit, while at the bonus making some pretty good levels as they were doing it. Those 2 being Heinz and Gyron David. But I've got exams to not study for, so I'm only focusing on the first one for now. For the longest time now, Heinz has been the guy you always go for a gay old time with some gay old levels. It's like End Level where he makes one of the best levels of all time and then follows it up with Home Depot. Whenever he releases some funky fresh shit, you can guarantee it's going to be an insane demon and it's going to be the best thing you've seen that week. Well, you'd fucking hope so after 7 years of doing this shit. For the past 7 years now, this man has been showing up on my greatest levels of all time list like clockwork, having a hand in 7 levels, showing up at 81, 55, 22, 17, 14, 8, and 1 respectively. Problem is, he only makes one every 250 years, and by the time he's come out with another one, you're already fucking dead, and your skeleton is playing it in the middle of an open casket funeral. Update 2.1 is almost 5 years old now, and he's made a grand total of 3 levels. 2 of those were great, the third, not so much. Pixel Thingy really intrigued me because I actually got to see it well before it was rated. You don't tend to see that too often with famous creators. The entire level is the embodiment of low-key. If you're a fan of Heinz, but also a little bitch like me that only plays levels hidden deep in the underground sewers, you're really gonna get a lot out of this one. This is by far his most basic level. It's just gameplay and nothing else. It's barely polished enough for Rob Top to contemplate a feature, and that's what's interesting about it. This level is incredibly fair. I was just happy to see a hard level with less than 50 million objects for once. It's really fucking annoying opening a level only to be met with your screen being reduced to 1% of its size before fucking out, but I wouldn't be sitting here complaining like a bitch if there weren't any problems with it. And with a heavy heart, I reluctantly present this. I don't know about you, but to me this is literally unplayable. Safe to say, this one didn't really make it in my top 100 levels of all time list. Well, neither did 75 million other levels, so Heinz shouldn't really feel too bad about not making the cut. Well, what if it did? What if magically someone came along to fix these mistakes for him? All this level really needed to be excellent is to just snip the last part and upgrade the deco a little bit. Heinz is out of his fucking mind to not do that in the first place, but that's not gonna get him on the most evil people of all time list. Yet. Surprisingly, no one's got around to it. But then I saw it, the remake I was searching for all this time, which is how the shit would have gone down if we lived in Dream World. But this is reality and we got this thing instead. Close enough, I guess. But at least he kept tradition alive by making the name look even dumber than it already is. This is Pixel Thingy by experimental creator 10ZK, creator of hit classics such as Ramen Birthday, Homeboy's Taco Shop, and Comp Ass. Also, there's this thing if you're into that. According to this random fucker, he's a future of GD. Sure. But Pixel Thingy is a little bit different. It's a remake of some random insane demon that lost to me in downloads and I'm nobody. He's got his work cut out for him. All he's got to do is this. 1. Update the decoration of a 2021 standards, and 2. Get rid of that god-awful blind cube part. Let's start with the first one. I know you're all here to watch me shit on levels, but that being said, I can acknowledge a good decoration job when I see it. Well, maybe I'm just saying that because it literally looks like one of my levels. Bright as shit, colourful, white background, that describes like 90% of everything I've ever made. But enough about me. Let's get back to this level, which I assume was made purely out of the sun because holy shit, this thing is bright as hell. To his credit, he does let you turn it down though. This decoration does actually look pretty good. Although I can guarantee he's beaten a coup 50 times, this is all the upgrade the level ever needed. All it really needed was having more than one color at a time, and he's definitely done the job. The biggest difference was all the scaling, pulsing decoration objects which he uses all the time, and he kinda goes overboard on them at points. It's also got slopes in it, which I kinda thought goes against the entire point of the level. It's also got a troll face in it, which kinda makes me want to go on the editor and get rid of myself. Not to mention all these meme death effects, which they're annoying. I am a fan of the part that surrounds them though. This block design here generally looks like something I would put in there as a modding creator, although he should probably be more selective of which colours he wants to pulse, because some of them just look like hydrogen if it was somehow even brighter. But there's a few problems with the decoration though. The last part looks really boring, and this robot part looks way too basic for a level this high energy. Not to mention that he literally reused the same decoration for multiple parts, which either annoys me too much or not enough than it should. I haven't quite decided yet. Now for the second task. Did he or did he not get rid of the terrible memory part? Not quite. To be fair, it's not as bad as it is on the original. Instead of being astonishingly awful, it's more just disappointing. I guess he didn't really like that part that much either, because he really neutered it when making the remake. Nothing more than a simple 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern. Doesn't mean that this isn't the worst part of the level though, because this looks like total ass. But I gotta give him credit on this one, it is technically an improvement. I don't know why he didn't just can that part entirely and just make a dark park that wasn't shit. He even managed to do it correctly 10 seconds later. I don't know exactly what was stopping him here. But the decoration isn't all that was changed. Let's look at the gameplay. If you say so. I guess the decoration wasn't the only thing my levels have in common with this, because this level wasn't balanced too good. And by that I mean just the wave parts, which just ruin the level. Look, they're brief, but they're gonna absorb 90% of your attempts like a fun sponge. In the original Pixel thingy, the wave was the best part, and that can absolutely not be said for the remake. Not only did he tighten the corridors for some reason, he made it even faster, so the end result is just you turning off your sound effects so you can stop hearing the death sound 50 times a minute. That being the main gameplay complaint, because the rest of this level is pretty good. Although the gameplay is very different from Heinz and relies on switching the gravity every 2 seconds. Different doesn't always mean bad though. That being said, when Tenzek made this, he cut 20 seconds off the intro, which I assume was so he could do less work, which is actually a large downside because it being long was kind of the point. It lets the player soak up the cheerful vibe, but the remake is always full force all the goddamn time and I never get a second to rest. When you get to the drop in the original, it's exciting because of the full minute build up that preceded it, but in the remake when you get to the drop, instead of looking forward to the rest of it, you're just sat there hoping you get to the wave for once. To be honest, the last part of Pixel thingy is so out of place that he could fuck up half the level and still be on par with the original. But at the end of the day, it's a remake, and a remake only serves its purpose if it's better than the original. Just being okay isn't good enough for a situation like this. If people like the original over your new and improved remake, you've failed. So did all of his effort go to waste? No, actually not at all. If you remember what I said earlier, all he had to do was 1. Update the decoration, and 2. Remove the shitty part at the end. He did 50% of that, and 50% of the passing grade, so good for them. To most people, choosing the remake would be a no-brainer, but at the same time, there's a lot of bullshit he left in. Please just nerf the wave parts. I don't exactly have a favorite though. They're both good levels in their own right, and I'm not one of those bitch boys that need to be an ultra completionist all the fucking time, so I don't really mind having 68% on Pixel thingy until the end of time. F3HCS by Durian Head is one of my favorite levels, and to this day I still haven't beaten it. So I can say I like both of these levels, so I'm glad I found out about the level when the time came. 3 months later. How come nobody told me about it? No one even mentioned it once except for this goober. Holy shit everyone, this level is fucking awesome! Did you see that block? Holy shit, this is a speed portal. Holy shit, this level is so good. Let's fucking go!
Oh! The fluke! Let's go!